Do you feel the pulse?
GNT right back at it one more time. Welcome back, people. Welcome back. Welcome back. Episode 84. We got a lot to talk about. BG, thank you for your time in Philadelphia. We're going to get into that. Your expectations for the Phils. What you guys think? And are y'all guys officially ready for madness? All that and more this week. GNT Sports Talk, episode 84. Hey, like I said before, welcome back. All in all, we are all set and ready to go. Sorry for our tardiness. Things happen, but we're here with y'all right now, and we're ready to rock and roll. So, the good thing is I'm not just on the show by myself. I have my boys with me as always. Brrr, gang in the building.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Another episode. You already know. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Tom, the promoter.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Like you said, man, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of GNT Sports Talk, man. Let's get it, man. Like the shade?
Yeah, it fits you well, bro.
You know,
It's like
you know
extra dark
man.
over there, so I don't know if you can even see the screen. It's extra dark.
I get my Stevie Wonder on, man. I just called to say I love you. Let's talk about
It's all good. We here.
Absolutely.
Let's get it.
Absolutely. And to my folks on IG on here already.
Yeah.
Curly So, it's good to see you. Hey, let's get into this conversation.
Curly?
Let's get into this conversation already. First things first, let's go ahead and give flowers when we're able to. For 15 years, this man right here, Mr. Brandon Graham, went and played for the Philadelphia Eagles. Started off his career pretty, it wasn't a good start for him, to be honest with you. People was calling him a bust his first couple of years, being drafted in the first round, 13 overall pick. And to end his career after 15 years with 2 Super Bowl championships, both obviously with the Philadelphia Eagles. He ended his career as a Philadelphia legend in the sports arena. So shout outs to BG and everything that he done as a Philadelphian and the Philadelphia Eagle. Let's give the man his flowers while we able to. What you guys got to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, man, great career. Like you said, it started off a little shaky, but I mean, you got probably the most memorable play besides the Philly special for that first Super Bowl with the strip sack fumble on, who we consider to go in Tom Brady. And I mean, listen, man, it's definitely going to be missed, the locker room presence. And, you just talked about what he did this year where he got injured, fought his way back to make it to the second Super Bowl and be on the field for that. And he retore, the pec muscle that he had. And I mean, listen, man, just awesome way to go out. I mean, considering how his career started. I mean, that's how you want to go out on top. 2 Super Bowls. And, shout out to BG 55.
How about it?
Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. Like you said, great career, man. Way to end it. You know what I'm saying? Being an undersized D tackle coming out of Michigan, man. You know what I'm saying? He lived up to, I guess, his expectations. You know what I'm saying? Of a career, and you know what I'm saying? What way to go out? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure every athlete, you know what I mean, that plays this game at a high level want to go out. You know what I'm saying? As a champion, as the last, hoorah for the career. So. You know what I mean? That's what's up. Good way to go out.
Absolutely. I think everybody wants to, if you're going to go ahead and just hang him up, go ahead and hang him up as a champion of the world. I mean, you couldn't write a better script. You couldn't write a better script. I mean, how many of these other players that we know of that retired unfortunately either not winning one at all or like Kelsey end up losing on his last year. You know what I mean? So to have BG go ahead and get that second ring the way that he did, and I mean, hey, shouts out to him, man. I mean, he was more than just like a really good player for the Eagles and a mentor when it comes to the young players. But I mean, when people tend to go away or when they retire or when people pass away, that's when you start hearing all the other stories, from the things that they've done outside of what's like on film all the time. You hear the backstories of like, yeah, like Brandon Graham stopped by the hospital and did this and that and this. I mean, but you're starting to hear a whole bunch of stories now about Brandon Graham and the things that he did off the field that was just commendable when it comes to the community. So I mean, shouts out to him, seriously. Awesome career and end up being an incredible individual for the city of Philadelphia as well. So yeah, shout out to him. 15 years, hon- honorable leave. So good for him, man, and his family, and all his kids. Like he has two kids, I believe, and both his kids are pretty young. So he can actually be home with them and actually, what I mean, and spend time with them as they're getting older too. So it's even better for them. So yeah, so good for Brandon Graham and his family. Congratulations on an excellent career. An excellent career. Okay, I guess we're done with that conversation. All right. That was quick. All right. Man, 7 minutes in. Who do we have on here? Just in case there was double check. Melissa, good to see you. Good to see you on Instagram. Melissa's in the building.
You.
All right, some that we also wanted to kind of get into, and I know Tone, this is definitely your right up your alley. I know this is something that you've been really paying attention to the last like 10 years, like real kind of heavy. I don't know if you have been this year because of all the players and stuff, but it is March Madness time. The brackets are starting to be filled now. Got some playing teams, some playing games stepping up now.
Yeah,
What's your
tonight.
vibe and your feel when it comes to March Madness this year, Tom?
Well, obviously we don't really tap into, well, talk about it. I guess we should say college basketball, but you know what I'm saying. I tune in. You know what I'm saying, all the time. I watch. Um, Duke University, Duke. You know what I mean, basketball, Blue Devils. That's my squad. So that's why I follow heavy. You know what I mean. Of course, that's why I'm hoping we get. Since we tanking. Since we doing what we supposed to do. Right now, and go get a Cooper flag. But I don't know what March Madness is for everybody else, man. But man, March Madness to me is like it's just like how I'm gonna say how I view baseball. You know what I mean? Like sometimes a long, grueling, season of baseball. You know what I mean? Yeah, you tap in, you follow, but you ain't. Well, I'm gonna speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? Ain't locked in the whole 162 games. But once that playoff starts, it's like what I mean, you better not miss a game. And like I said, that's how I feel about college basketball and March Madness, man. Because to me, man, there's always a team but it's always a player that just jumps out and you be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like I've never heard of this guy, or what I mean, I might have heard a little bit, but damn, I didn't know he was this good. Then the upsets. We always looking at the upsets, and that's what you want to see. You know what I mean? And I remember, man, just during the pandemic back in 2020 when they obviously we heard when they had stopped the NBA game, and it was right. I think that was probably like in the end of February, kind of beginning of March of 2020, man. And when they shut March Madness down, you know what I mean? I was like, damn. You know what I mean? Like obviously we knew that COVID was pretty heavy and how serious it was, but when they cut March Madness, I was like, damn, like I was taken back by that because I at least thought they would still, do things and play that because, what I mean, all like I said, all the memories, all the, what I'm saying, everything that you see when it comes to March Madness, man. Like I don't know if y'all remember when pretty much when I ain't gonna say when CJ McCollum was born, but you know what I'm saying, when he pretty much came on the scene and nobody knew him, you know what I'm saying, with that small school, and they beat Duke as a 15 seed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They beat Duke. They was number 2 seed. You know what I mean? I think he had about 27. Was just put that team on his back, led him, and like I said, upset Duke in the tournament, man. So started last night. Controversial pick, as far as North Carolina making the field because they were the actual last team they said that was selected, to make it. Do they deserve to be there? I think they're a good enough team, to be in there. You know what I mean? Given how their season went, the resume don't really stack up. You know what I mean? To be there, but I mean, shit, they went out and almost waxed the team like 30 last night. You know what I mean? To pretty much prove, the fact like, hey, look, we got the nod, so this is why we here. You know what I mean? Battling in the ACC, every year. Like I said, being a Duke fan and then playing against North Carolina. Those dudes, like I said, they might not had a good resume, to make the tournament, but I think they'll fare well, what I'm saying, in this tournament. But man, I love it. Like I said, man, I'll be locked in. I used to take the days off. You know what I'm saying? Like Tuesday, Thursday. I mean Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. At least the opening week. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to be locked in. Games is all day long. You know what I mean? They start at like 12 o'clock. Last game, what I mean, probably scheduled to 10:15 because they on the West Coast. Things like that. But like I said, they locked in. Last night they locked in tonight. The big game starts Thursday, man.
Yep.
I encourage, man, anybody who's really not into college basketball to, what I mean, start watching, man, because this is the future of the NBA, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
watching the draft and these people get drafted. You're like, well, who the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna help our team? Or you gotta wait to see the highlights because in the draft, or just period. This is every sport. Any draft that they show the player get drafted, they're gonna show you all the good things. All the this is what he could do, but you want to know what he lacks, or things that you might think that like, all right, he could help us in that area, but he needs to improve there. Like like I said, I don't know how much people was locked in, but I definitely knew going into the draft last year that Dalton Connect, I thought was just going to be a steal. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, it was that at Tennessee, he was cooking. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You know what I'm saying? My man was getting busy. Was doing anything he wanted out there, man. And I seen, like I said, being a Duke fan, I knew Jared McClain was solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And at the time, yes, I would have wanted Dalton Connect. I did want Dalton Connect in the draft because,
Mhm.
like I said, 6'8", talented, versatile, what I mean, forward, could shoot the rock, what I mean, dribble, what I'm saying. And I was looking at it as a height, thing. Same thing we can look at this year, what I'm saying, with Cooper Flag coming out, man, what I'm saying. I think he's going to be an instant talent, instant, guy that's going to come to an organization, what I'm saying, and change, their direction, man. So I love it, man. I love March Madness. Like I said, tapping in tonight, continuing Thursday, man, for the rest of the tournament. Man. I'm excited.
All right, I'll go ahead and say this just in case. I'm waiting for Joe Wilder to
Oh,
gather himself. Yeah,
I,
it was
I was
it
going.
was on it was on you,
Hey,
bro, but it's cool.
nah, that's cool. First, I want to give shout out to Taya, Little Miriam, and D Boy joining us on IG. But quick question for my guy Tone, because this happened a few days ago. So obviously, Duke won't be in this situation, but in the NIT bracket, South Alabama received the invite to the tournament, which later on got rescinded because they invited too many teams. So how would you feel if that was you, man? That was unbelievable, man.
Now, obviously with those smaller schools, they got to kind of like win their tournament, what I'm saying, to get automatic bid. So, um, to them, I would have to obviously assume that they didn't win their conference, tournament because they would have got an automatic bid. Um, I've never heard of that, what I'm saying, like being invited or too many teams being invited to the tournament and then getting resent. Like maybe that's where North Carolina got their bid. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it was an uproar. They was going crazy. Because what was crazy was after North Carolina had lost to Duke in the ACC tournament, right after the game, reports was like, they've been eliminated from NCAA contention. So then when they was doing the bracket and they was like that they're one of the last four that made it, people was going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now to go to answer your question, Joe, I'd be pissed. You know what I'm saying? As a university, you know what I mean, getting that invite because I'm sure that they probably alerted the players. You know what I'm saying? On the school, they probably celebrated, went crazy a little bit. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh wait, hold on, pause. You know what I'm saying? No, y'all can go to the NIT. Now, I don't even know if I would have accepted that, but they probably feel as though that they're a good team and they compete. Now, to make the NCAA feel bad about rescinding that invitation, they got to go out and win NIT. You know what I'm saying? They can't probably go get bounced early. You know what I'm saying? Lose it early in NIT. Then they be like, we'll see why we rescinded the invite. But yeah, man, that would be definitely crushing. You know what I'm saying?
Heartbreaking.
Right.
Like
I
I said,
couldn't
get
believe at that level that they had that miscue, that fumble. But I mean, just to chime in on the NCAA tournament, I think is an exciting day, exciting time, tournament and stuff like that. And to Tone's point, like that's where I really start really paying attention and looking at these young players coming out of college and seeing, their talents and stuff like that. But it's just super exciting just to see all the college students supporting their teams and the old people that used to play for that team or people that just
Right.
connected to the schools that end up getting involved and participating and you get that team spirit and stuff like that. I mean, that's how, when Villanova goes on these runs and that's the closest, winner that we have, the Philly, that, you just start cheering for just because they're nearby. But it's more important just getting to know these players that are projected to go high in the draft and then you get to see their talents.
Yeah, to me it feels like, at least it has been for the last number of years, that the NCAA March Madness tournament is like almost equal to no. I want to make sure this makes sense. The way that the NFL shows off the top draft players and the combine, that's almost what March Madness do for the college basketball players. You know what I mean? Because it's not like we're, as consumers, we're not watching the NBA combine. I know I don't watch it, but I'm watching the NFL combine like crazy almost every single day. I'm kind of tuning in to exactly what, each position group is doing and, and how they're actually performing when it comes to certain drills. I'm paying attention. But I don't do that so much when it comes to the NBA combine. But I definitely pay attention to March Madness and see all these players that's going to be in the top picks actually go ahead and perform. You can actually see what they're able to do on the next level. And that's kind of like how I look at it. It's like, I got the NFL combine and then I got March Madness so I can see the NBA players. So I can have a better idea of what they're going to be and what they're going to do in the future.
Yeah,
Right.
and to
See,
Joel's point.
go ahead, Tom.
Oh, and to Joel's point when he was like, when March Madness happens, you follow the teams obviously locally that does, well, Villanova being, that team pretty much from the Philly area that pretty much makes the tournament and, I mean, had deep runs and I said obviously with Coach Wright. But like that legendary three that Chris Jenkins hit, man, the winner joint. Like,
Ooh.
you know what I'm saying? Like I just know that feeling, man. I know he probably was the king of on the campus, you know what I'm saying, after that, man, hitting that legendary shot because it's going to be for the ages, man. And like another memory with that was, it was against North Carolina. And Kenny Smith went there, and those guys, Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley, they do they do the halftime show at the table with Clark Kellogg and the boy Greenberg, and I remember them taking like a well, not like a video of the panel, and when Chris Jenkins hit that three, like you just see how devastated Kenny Smith was, like this, but Barkley was on the side jumping. But it wasn't so much that he was like happy that Kenny Smith lost. I think Barkley had a bet, on that joint, so he was happy he cashed out on the bet. But I wanted to bring up a story that I heard actually yesterday, right? Jay Will, White Chocolate, was was on. I forget what podcast he was on, but they asked him a question as far as like his journey to the NBA. So he says the year that he came out, he was invited to who was it? I forget what team it was that was thinking about taking. And anywho, he gets invited to a draft camp, and the coaches is in there. Now Chuck Daly was around at this time, and remember Bryce Drew with the Valparaiso? He had the legendary March Madness clip where they threw like the 3/4 court pass to him. He catches it and he shoots like a three at the buzzer, knocks off a
Yeah.
team. They upset the side. They jumping on him, boom, boom. So they bring him in at the same time they brought Jay Will in, and they was like, with the 13th pick, he was thinking about taking Bryce Drew, right? But they was like, we need to know or see who's more athletic, and that's who we're going to draft. So Jay Will was like, he heard that, was like, what? He was like, oh, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool. He was like, that turned me up. So he was like, as soon as they get to like the workout, he like Chuck Daly, like, look, I'm about to hit the green in about an hour. He's like, we're gonna start off with a one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you think we can get this over in 20 minutes? Because he was like, I know who's more athletic. He's like, but of course, the office, the team, upper management, they need to see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jay Will was like, man, he was like, let me just tell you this. He said Bryce Drew had a better chance of pissing in a hot sauce bottle. He said he got that boy out of here quick. You know what I'm saying? And Doug was able to, go off on the green, man. But like moments like that, man, I love to hear from NBA guys, man. But again, Bryce Drew, Chris Jenkins, NCAA memories, man. Those highlights, they never get old, man. And you know what's crazy too about it, man? And shame on me, you know what I'm saying, for maybe not knowing this, or I ain't gonna say not knowing, maybe just forgetting. But I did not know Greg Gumbel passed away. And I didn't know that, no. So the way I found out was obviously I watched Election Sunday, you know what I mean, when they picked all the teams and said what they was just that. Before they did it, they showed this video. Greg Gumbel, he was crying and he was just like saying how much March Madness meant to him. Like how he just loved it, the memories, stuff like that. So I'm like, why are they showing this dude like this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, real emotional. I'm like, okay, all right, maybe it's just an intro to, Selection Sunday. Then, I the panel was like, yes, Greg would have loved this, listen. I was like, wait, he would have loved it. Like, I'm like, oh damn, like Greg out of here. Then I thought he just recently passed. He was like back in December. So I was like, damn, man, like, that's crazy. But like I said again, man. March Madness, I mean, I'd probably make a video like that crying, like, you know what I'm saying, how thorough I really think March Madness is, man. Like, I really be locked into that joint, man, for sure.
It's crazy. Like, the older we get, the more we start seeing our legends, like them start to fade away. Like Dick Vitale. I mean, like I think he almost checked out like a couple years ago, and I think he's trying to get back.
Yeah, he actually just came back this year.
Right. So I mean, that a gigantic, voice in, March Madness. Like when you think of college basketball, when you think of college basketball, you think Mr. Vitale. I mean, it's normal.
Gypsy dude, Dunkaroo, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Dick Vitale, man. He was definitely a legend, man. Glad to see him, fight back. Like you said, I had the health scare. To fight back and get back to something that he loved to do. I don't know if this was just something he wanted to do this year, and maybe just hang it up. On a good note, not because of an ailment or something like that, man. But it was definitely good to see him, back being away for however long it was that he was away, man. I think his voice changed a little bit. He sounds a little bit different, you know what I'm saying? Obviously not the same, but great to see that man, back on TV, man, doing his thing.
Right. You tell, he's older. The energy is not exactly all the way there like it normally, used to be. But like I said, at least, he's still around. We still have some semblance of, of the man that he's always been. So it's good to see him back. Seriously.
Yeah, they definitely gonna give him the leeway too, just like they do with Terry Bradshaw. They end up because he be saying something, they be looking at him like, "What's going on here?" And then another legend to keep an eye on because obviously he didn't finish out the season, but Greg Popovich for the Spurs, like he's definitely battling some health concerns and stuff like that, and hopefully he could battle through it, man. Because I just think he's one of those guys that once he stops doing what he loves, unfortunately, things go downhill. So Hopefully that's not the case. But
Yeah,
March
a la,
Madness,
Joe Paterno.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just thinking that.
yeah,
when his Joe
exactly,
stopped coaching, he chest. I was like,
yep,
dang.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's just that's what keeps them going, man. They just know one thing. They know how to operate and just constant grind and doing all that stuff. But
Well, maybe it was the guilt that he had from Sandusky. Maybe he just knew. He's like, I say no, no.
man, I was talking about that the other day. I was like, yo, it's just crazy how that just got like not that nobody forgot about it, but that
They
was
did.
an
I mean,
actual
yeah,
thing.
everybody forget about. Don't talk about it no more. That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
Mhm.
they don't talk about saying dust no more. Like he's out there saying touching people. Like yeah, that's
but I wanted to get your opinion on with March Madness and with the players because I know Cooper Flag, he was one of the ones that's actually contemplating and actually still joining the draft, the NBA draft. With the NIL deals, do you guys think is going to be beneficial for March Madness and the players now that they have that avenue of getting money while they're in college, where they may stay another year or two, and these college teams start to become even more dominant and make March Madness even better? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I definitely think so. I mean, March Madness became March Madness because of the third and fourth year starters that was there all those years. And I mean, you, we saw the greatness of the Grant Hills. We saw the greatness of Michael Jordan. So, you saw these great players that stay with a team for multiple years, not just running out of there after 1 year and having no kind of semblance. I mean, when you think of Michael Jordan, besides the Bulls, you think of North Carolina. You know what I mean? When you think of Grant Hill, you think of Duke. I mean, there's when, for example, when you think of Kyrie Irving, you think of who? You see what I mean? And like so, hopefully, we get a chance to actually start to get back to that. You know what I mean? Like, having a team that's put together and stays together and they raising up the new players that come in, the new freshmen that's coming in and show them the way. So when they go ahead and leave out and go into the league after year 3 or 4, and now they're stepped into that role that's there. And that's when we had like great basketball from college going into the professionals. And I'm hoping that will go ahead and continue now with, them getting paid in there. They don't have to run out of there to go ahead and get paid. Stay in there. So if we may get better basketball, and I think we get better basketball when it comes to pros too. The more they stay in college, the more they get to train and learn. The more they get to train and learn, now they're taking that skills to the NBA. So they don't have to worry about trying to learn it on a professional level, learning on the college level.
yeah. That's what I was actually going to say, Kat. That you're 100% correct because I think that's like if you just sit back and just really think about these NIL deals that these kids can get, man. For forever in time, these universities will make money off of the players. Let's just go back to Michigan when they was running at the Fab Five, and those dudes were influential, to the hood, you know what I'm saying? Playing ball, like everybody wanted long shorts, black socks, bald head, hooping. Like that's what we wanted because that's what we seen. But them dudes made nothing off of that. You know what I'm saying? And I think with the NILs being in place, now I think it's giving the kids, just I guess like a choice to, hey, should I take my talent to the NBA or like you said, come back to college, get a better like season better, you know what I'm saying? And then it makes college even better the following season. And then when they do come back for, another year, then it makes it the pros is, has a great stability. So NIL deals, man, I think it's huge and it's great for these kids because instead of just running to the NBA because of potential, you know what I mean? Because that's where we get sold a lot with a lot of players, man. The potential that they think these guys may have. Because yes, it may look good, you know what I'm saying? It's a flash in the pan, a couple games, but we all know that college and the pros is different on every level. You know what I mean? So something that you see them doing in college, they may be able to do in the pros, but you know what I'm saying? It may not pan out. Confidence could get shot. I seen a I seen a little not an interview, but just a little passage on Jabari Parker. Y'all remember Jabari Parker went to
Of
Duke.
course.
You know what I'm saying? Was a great talent. Said he should have been the next this or the next that. Didn't really pan out in the NBA. I mean, as far as with the injuries, slowed him down, things like that. So, and like right now, he's overseas, and he just got interviewed. I would say, and of course, people are talking about him just throughout his career, saying how much of a bust he was. He was I forget what the words that they used verbatim just about him, making the NBA, and he was just like, listen, man, he was like, all I got to say is that he said, I played on every level, I played at the highest, level. Like, you know what I mean? I made it to the NBA. He was like, that was a goal of mine since I was a young kid. He was like, I did that. He was like, I took my family out the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in a good life. He was like, I don't feel as though, my career was nothing because he was like, I set out to make the NBA. He's like, I did that. I set to have a financial, life for myself and my family. I did that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Only thing, like, he could have probably said it. I didn't see him say it. I didn't see him say it. The only thing that obviously he could or should have a gripe with is just that his NBA career didn't turn out as expected, or maybe how he felt as though it should have been. But I'm not discrediting anything, you know what I mean, like that. Like, of course, you want to say, damn, he had the potential to beat us, or he was a 6'8", forward with a handle shot. You know what I mean? Like, should have been this and should have been that, man. But like I said, it doesn't always work like that for everybody who makes any kind of professional, league like that. So, but NIL deals are great, man. Like I said, it gives the kids a thought process to say, hey, should I go back to school or should I go ahead and make this money? Because some of these NIL deals these kids are getting is more than what they would make professionals.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that can also weigh on them too. So I think that NIL deals are great for college and, like you said, the pros.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's funny talking about Mr. Parker. I mean, in that draft, like I really wanted him to drop to the Sixers since we had number 3 that year. I really wanted him to drop to the Sixers, but he ended up being picked second. And you know, maybe depending on where he would have actually fallen at, is instead of him going to the team that he did go to, uh, if he would have actually went to the Sixers, for example, I don't know if he would still had the same type of like negative outlook on his career because he literally would have been the star on the team. He may still gotten hurt the way he did his first year, but I mean, he had all the tools. He had all the tools, and I mean, Wiggins looked like he was soft, and he had to mature his game, and what I mean, and to become a tougher, stronger player. Embiid was hurt like immediately, so it was like Parker would have been that guy. He would have been that guy, but whatever. Shame he went to the team that he went to. Anyway, I really wanted him to be a Sixer, but it's all good. So, but good question, Joel. Seriously, and I really do think it definitely would be better for all angles. The product itself will be better in the long run, and I think
Right.
that's what the NBA wanted anyway.
Right. I'll just look at someone like Maxi in the few years that we had him. Like he came in, like as far as like being NBA ready, like as far as like his frame, like now you see him like he worked out and put into work. I
Hmm.
think if he would have been someone that would have benefited from, you know, for that. Some of the guys that can, stay in there a little longer and stuff like that. But I mean, it is definitely something that I was thinking about. I'm like, man, come 3, 4 years from now, where you see these guys willing to stay a few extra years, because the money part's not an issue. And on top of that, like, let's not be fooled. Like these guys are stars in the college campus and, being the star athletes where, when they get drafted in the first round, if you're not like the top 2 or 3, even in that case, like you're going to a team that already has established superstars, you're
Hmm.
going into a city, you gotta, you gotta play well, get acclimated well for to become a fan favorite. Where in college, you stepping on campus, you the man. You know what I mean? So it's like you got that whole element where it's like, man, I'm walking on campus, I'm the man, I'm making good money. There's no rush. So, it's definitely good. I think going to benefit, everyone that's in play involved, and it's going to give a good product for the NCAA and also the NBA, further down the line.
I definitely agree. And we're going to see. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. We definitely should be able to see a difference in the product within the next 5 years. Like for sure, for sure. And you go, no, when we see these tournaments and we're like, oh, I know this team because I remember that player and he's still on the team. You know what I mean? Like then that's going to be great. That's going to be great. So we'll see.
You got that element, and also, just think about it. A lot of these guys, from what we hear from athletes after they're done their careers in the NFL, NBA specifically, they get out, they end up broke, they end up being, they don't got the money where they used to be. Now you get an extra 2 years of school where you could get some type of career and a good foundation. So post your NBA or your NFL career or stuff like that. Now, and you already have money to invest while you're in college. In addition to that, you could take some accounting classes or whatever to help you further your career. When you do get the NBA contract or the NFL contract, you can sit there and make better decisions to set yourself up and get that generational wealth. You know what I mean? So all in all, I think is a win. And like Tone was saying, imagine the Fab Five being able to get NIL deals, and the trend they were setting, where everybody was, with the baggy shorts, like you were saying, and it was crazy. Like, you think about that, they probably would have never came out with that team. They were like, "Oh, we going 4-peat in college," like, you know what I mean? So you got that whole element where, like it is no rush to sit there and go chase the bag, because don't be fooled. Like I think that was the ultimate deciding factor for a lot of the guys. Is like, yo, I'm sitting here, I'm on a scholarship, but my mom or my family back home, they struggling, they going through little things and stuff like that financially, where I could just be an NBA lottery pick and change the game, and then
Right.
you got less schooling, you chasing the money, and you get a bad injury, the money didn't last, you don't have any type of schooling or any background or any foundation like that, and then now you like, oh man, what am I going to do now? You know what I mean? If you suffer a devastating injury or your career, just like you were saying, Parker, like, you know what I mean? Now he's overseas. I'm sure he'd rather be in the NBA, being a star playing here, making
Right.
the money there and the contracts that they're making now, but it didn't play out that well.
We'll see, man. We'll definitely go ahead and we definitely going to keep our eye on that one. To see how the product changes and what have you. But good for the young bulls, man. I mean, that's something that I believe we was all talking about. Like, yo, they need to get something, for the sacrificing that those guys are doing. Now, granted, I mean, we wanted, I'm sure, Tone, giving you a full ride at college, on a basketball scholarship. You know what I mean? That was your goal. I'm pretty sure that was your goal. If let's say Temple, because it's local. If Temple would have went ahead and said like, yo, you have a full ride basketball scholarship. Go ahead and just play ball. And now you got the cameras and everything on you. I mean, that's a big deal. But it was an even bigger deal like 10, 15 years ago. Compared to like now. Because now it's like, okay, well, I don't have to get a full ride because y'all going to pay me like $1 million to play for your university, so I can pay my own college. You know what I mean? Even though you still get the ride, the full ride scholarships anyway. But you know, the goals are just different. I mean, the platform is just different. You
Yeah,
know,
well, it's that, but also the NIL deals that you get from different, where however you get that NIL deal, the good part is that you can focus on specifically getting better as an athlete in whatever sport you're in.
right?
Because some of these guys that don't have that, they got to get money somehow. They got part-time jobs, full-time jobs, trying to juggle school, work, all that stuff. So it ends up becoming beneficial from all aspects. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a bit. It was definitely well deserved for all these athletes, because between the jersey sales, the ticket sales, that these colleges was just taking all the money. You know what I mean?
Look, and it keeps the boosters out of, you know what I'm saying, off of the kids back trying to portray them or sway them to go, different schools, do different things, man. And even when Joel, you just said, like, for the guys that don't have the NIL deals, and it's like, they mom back at home struggling, or, and living conditions is crazy back home. So that's why these kids be like, look, I'm gonna just do 1 year, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna average this, and then I'm going to the league to try to get this money. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, not knowing, like, yeah, you might have it on the surface, the talent be there, you know what I'm saying? But your mindset might not be there to when you might get drafted, get to the NBA or whatever, and be just overwhelmed, and it doesn't work. And then, you know what I'm saying, you run through that little bit of money that you have at the beginning of your career, then it just never pans out. So I think it stops a little bit of that too, man, from having these guys, quote unquote crashing out. And I'm talking about as far as like just making a rash decision. Like, look, I got to go ahead and put my name in this NBA draft hat, you know what I'm saying, and try to get my family out this poverty. And that's what you play this game for if good enough too, man. You want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't coming at any of the guys that's why they want to, leave. But these NIL deals, they can help with that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas though they ain't got to, like I said, run to the draft or run to this and that, like, putting themselves out there. Hey, come back to school. You got these NIL deals that can even probably continue when you get drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a sponsor, in the sense, like, whatever it is that, they could hit you up with, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Great thing, man, for the sport, for college sports and pro.
Absolutely. So go ahead, tournament. Definitely more to go along when it comes to that sport. When it comes to the next number of weeks, it's going to get real exciting when it comes to March Madness. So everybody, get your brackets ready. I'm not even trying this year. I had like no time at all this year to pay attention to all 175 teams, whoever how many teams is on that bracket.
I just pulled it up and I'm like, oh man.
Yo, it's a bar that just opened up down 10th and Arch, called Lion Sports Bar. They probably opened up about 3 weeks ago. And they actually knew, obviously, that March Madness was coming up. And one of the things they promoted and, launching their sports bar was that they was having an NCAA tournament bracket challenge. And the thing about it is they got $100,000 on the line that you can win. But now this is, I don't know. Now what I love about this too, because they be showing round after round after round how many perfect brackets are still like be in play. You know what I'm saying? And it do be like some, I don't know if this is just be made up, but it do be some perfect fucking brackets. You know what I'm saying? Even up until like the Sweet 16. But what the Lions Bar did was that they had 100 grand that anybody could obviously, submitted their tournament bracket. But if they had a perfect bracket with the championship winner, 100K.
That's
100K.
crazy.
I mean, I would have been eliminated the first round because I'm sure I'd have picked somebody who, would have lost and I thought would have won. But I was like, that's crazy. And I'm sure people enter, that contest, man. I wanted to, but I was like, I'm not gonna get no fucking get all of it, right, man. I ain't that good. But to give a little story or just a memory about March Madness, man, I actually had the chance to go to March Madness games when it was here in Philly, man. Like probably, I want to say the year was probably, oh man, like 2012, 2013, something like that, man. Years ago, and it was when Otto Porter was still at G-Town. And I don't know if y'all remember that team, Florida Atlantic. They upset Georgetown at the time. And they came out, out of nowhere, man. I was at that game watching. And man, they was throwing out youths. They was just out there balling. Like I said, upset G-Town. And actually, Duke was in the bracket here in Philly, but I had missed the game. They had played before. I was actually, able to get down there, man, at the Wells Fargo. But it was great, man. Man, I remember that was the first time that I had ever went to Xfinity Live. And I was just like, damn, like this joint really got the name like right, like because it was live in that joint, man. I mean, and LaSalle was they was in the tournament that year. I don't know if y'all remember the ball from Philly, the South Philly floater. You know what I'm saying? That
Oh yeah.
and young boy actually went to I want to say he went to Bartram. He went to Bartram. Then
Mhm.
had got the scholarship to LaSalle, and I think when to either win the tournament, his conference tournament, or just throughout the NCAA tournament, he was throwing the floater up. And since he was from South Philly, you know what I'm saying, he named it the South Philly, or maybe the dude, named it the South Philly floater, you know what I'm saying? But that was the year they was there. I know they had LaSalle on the screen. Man, everybody was down at that joint rocking it, man. Like it was definitely hype, man. And there was a lot of people down that joint. And like I said, man, that was the first time and the only time, you know what I'm saying, I've ever been to NCAA March Madness, man. But just like how you see it hyped up on TV, it's just like that, you know what I mean, in person, man. Like, and I was actually trying to look at the brackets, and I didn't know if I seen it, but if they're in the Philly area, man, like I would not mind, sliding and going to one of the games. Like I said, it's definitely worth it, man. That shit was all.
Excitement of those games, man, is always great. All right, so here, going to the next subject, Chris. Actually, we almost done for the night, but I need to gauge y'all guys' excitement and expectations for these guys. So we know the baseball season is upon us. And yes, Joel, you're wearing the correct hat for this conversation. So what's your feeling on these Phils right now?
Fast forward
Right now.
to September. Hopefully the team's healthy, catches fire, heading into October. That's where I think every single Phillies fan is at right now. Just due to the fact the last 3 years how it ended. No expectations, we make the World Series. High expectations, we lose to the Diamondbacks. High expectations, we lose to the Mets. So we're just in a like we know we have a talented team. We know we have a team capable of making a deep run in October. And I think all the fans are just like, listen, man, like I don't want to get too invested in the season. I just want to fast forward to September. Hopefully everyone's healthy. Hopefully we got the lineup figured out. Hopefully the bullpen's doing well
Mhm.
and they put their best foot forward and handle the business. Last year, the way they went out with the bats getting so cold and no one being able to come through, it was just devastating being a Phillies fan. I mean, we did the game at Dimensions and we're sitting there and we're like, "Oh my god, like this is horrible."
Terrible.
And I think that's where personally I'm at. Like I mean, like I'm going to keep an eye on the games and stuff like that and obviously be rooting, but really like I'm not going to be too high or too low on the season until I see how we're playing heading into September towards that tail end and heading into the playoffs because I mean that's where we're at with this team. We know we got a talented team, uh, high payroll. We got all the key players and all that stuff, and it's just time to put up or shut up, man. Because I mean, we're at that point where like the window's not closed or closing, but it's definitely smaller for this team.
Yes.
And we just need to figure out what we need to do to get over that hump. And I think is straight up World Series to make it to the World Series or
Or
bust.
bust.
I mean, obviously, I would want us to make it there and win, but that's where I'm at as a Phillies fan.
Yeah, like Joe said, man, you don't want to be too high, you don't want to be too low. I'm right there in the middle, man, flat line. No, I ain't dead, but you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like just like, okay. Um, just like Joel said, man, the last three seasons, man, World Series appearance, which I had the honor to, man, go to game four, you know what I'm saying, and witness history. But it was when we got fucking no hits. So, you know what I'm saying? That was not that's not a part of the history that I was excited for. Man, great to be there, man. Great experience, man. You know what I'm saying? Never been to any kind of championship, game in any kind of sport, man. But that was amazing, man. But World Series appearance, you know what I'm saying? We lose in LCS, and then the last year's debacle. I don't know, man. The team has the talent. They have everything, man. I just think the last two seasons, man. Um, the bats going cold that was a problem. That was a problem, man. For it to happen again the second season, I just wasn't just like, come on, man, something has to change, as far as that goes, man. So hopefully, when people aren't, hitting, but they go cold. I just want to see some things, mixed up. People put, different, parts of the lineup, to try to help this team out, man, because they have it, man. They have everything you need. You know what I'm saying? They've been having it. It ain't like this team has been like one of those teams trying to get up the hill. You know what I'm saying? Shit, we at the top of the hill now. We fucking rolling down it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Joel might be, right with his World Series or bust. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we want to fast forward to September, but shit, we better hope we make the damn playoffs. You know what I'm saying? The way shit has been going, man. But we excited for the season, man. Nonetheless, man, Phillies fan, through and through, man. Do I think? Of course, we think they got the potential to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I go out there and do it, man. And I just wouldn't want this season to end. Just like I said, the last two years, man. Like we want to be talking about these guys like, damn, they put their heart out there. They left it all out on the field. You know what I'm saying? Other teams just better. You know what I mean? So that's what we're hoping for. I expect all great things, being one of the best teams in the National League. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and perform and show that we like that, man. So that's my expectation. Like you said, not too low, not too high, right there in the middle, man.
I want to see this team actually have a different approach on the bat, on base and at the bat, because you know home run fest you know can't be the all in all for this Phillies team, because they literally the last number of years they lived and died on the homer. They lived and died on it. And when Joel, like yes, got fan saying earlier, when we was at Dimensions, almost every swing that every single person that was in that lineup that was up there that day was them swinging to the fences, to the fences. And it's just like, you're not going to win like that, because these pitchers know exactly what y'all trying to do. You know what I mean? There's no small ball in baseball when it comes to the Phils like last year. It just wasn't there. You know what I mean? Actually approaching to try to get that single, get those doubles, get those players, in position in order for them to be able to go ahead and steal and go ahead and disrupt the pitcher and his vision and his. You didn't see it almost all last year, so that's the approach that I actually want to see for the Phils this year. I want to see
Yeah,
something different.
yeah, and you're absolutely right because of the fact that last year what you got a lot of was first pitch swinging, and then from there the hitters behind on the count, and literally like that. As you're speaking, I'm recalling and vividly remembering that Bryce Harper, three straight pitches outside, it went further out and further out. Three swings, you're
Mhm.
not working the count. You're not having a good approach, to the at bat, trying to get these starting pitchers deep in the count to get their pitch count up. And then by the time you know it, you're in seventh inning, eighth inning, and you still got the starting pitcher out there. So now it gives the opportunity for that team deep in the playoffs for the relief pitchers to take a day off, and then now they're extra, got the extra strength for the next day if they need to go to the bullpen early and stuff like that. You're absolutely right. That's definitely one of the things that is glaring with this team where everyone's just trying to hit the home run and no one's working the counts to try to get that, to turn that bullpen, get into the bullpen. And, you got these pitchers, 8, 9, 10 pitches, innings. Next thing you know, seventh inning, they got 70, 85 pitches max. And they're like thinking about keeping them into 8 innings.
Yeah,
So it's definitely something that they need to correct.
but you have players on the team that's known, for you know the small ball. They're known for it. Bryson Stott, known not as a home run hitter, as a double hitter. Turner is the one that is known that he can give you a single all you up to a home run. You know what I mean? He's able to work the bases as well. He's known for that. That's the reason why he was, your number one batter in the lineup for years when he was on other teams. So it's the team is capable of it. We just need to see it and have more discipline, you know, at their bats compared to what they had before in the past. I just think, I just think the skipper just give them just freedom. Just go out there, do what you want to do. Just swing for the fences, swing for the fences. Instead of like, all right, no, play smart, guys, because they have the team. They definitely have the team. Now, can they put it all together and go ahead and you know and make that work? But like you said, health is important. I mean, because it felt like when the team was like in the groove last year, that's when Bryce hurt his hand. You know what I mean? Like that was in the groove. Somebody else of importance got hurt. Turner got hurt. You know what I mean? It's so no, health is important, but they're not getting younger. That's the problem. They're not getting younger. So they need to go ahead and try to make this move now, like this year. So you're right. If it's not World Series, it's going to be a disappointment because they have the team and they're spending the money.
Right,
So
and then I could see, getting to the NLCS and, making a deep run and stuff like that. But I mean, just they just didn't show any fight, man. Like that's
yeah,
what pissed me off last year. Like we're sitting there looking at each other like, damn, did we just go out like that? Especially to the Mets, like, oh my god, like we're never going to hear the end of this. And then,
right.
these teams got, they leveled up. They went and got, Soto, a couple different people and stuff like that. I still think we have the team to take over and do well
Mhm.
until we face the Dodgers, and that's the team. That's the only team that we gotta be concerned with right now. But other than that, I'm not afraid to go head to head with anybody. That's the only team where I see like we're evenly matched, and they're the champions. So hopefully they got that chip, and they we catch them lacking a little bit, and we could take them over. But I think that's where they'll finally feel if they get to that game where they're not the team expected to win, so they can actually, because that's what happened to me. To me, like looking at that team, they were supposed to be the Mets. They were supposed to be the Diamondbacks, and then the year that they made it all the way, they weren't supposed to do anything. So they had that fight in them. So I think if we get that series drawn with the Dodgers winning last year, and us being hungry, and we're right there, and we could take, taste the victory right there, and be able to get to the World Series and actually get there and win it. I think that's what it's going to take for them to feel that they're the underdogs and stuff like that.
I agree. I agree. They're capable, like we said, they're capable of doing it. It's just a matter of will they actually do it. We'll see. Long season. We have all summer to find out. And definitely, we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on the Phils the whole entire summer. And as a crew, I know we're planning on going to a Phillies game this year too. So we get to actually see that live. Joel went to like 30 games last year.
Yeah.
Invited me to not one, but he went to like 30 games last year.
Listen, you got to get at Chill Will because he invited me. But
No.
my uncle, and shout out to my uncle, he actually retired from
Oh,
UR, right up the street from the Lowe's, the United Refrigeration.
oh
They were
yeah.
the ones actually, that's their tickets that he was getting. So he retired. So during his retirement uh dinner that they had for him, I was like, yo, you make sure you talk to whoever hand out them tickets. And he's like, you sure? I did. I already told him. Make sure you keep me on the email list. I'll drive back up and get them tickets. So hopefully you still get them tickets.
We need more. See if you can get extra. And his retirement, see if you can get extra to have your boy go ahead and add
Take
add it
the
to the
whole
list.
section.
Take the whole section. We'll take it. We'll
Right.
take it. Hey, look, just in case we go ahead and shut this thing down. But before we officially shut it down, we want to go ahead and just give a early announcement. Joel, you can go. I know you have a little bit more of the details. Here's an early announcement about our boy Juan Marrero fighting in May, I believe the 10th.
Yep.
Break it
Yeah,
down,
so
Joel.
currently they're in negotiations. I mean, he definitely has the fight date May 10th, Saturday, and this time is at the Hard Rock Casino in AC. So your boy Juan Marrero, GNT Sports Talk, like listen, he's been inspiring us. He called me today. He called me, and for him. He was in the gym today sparring. I spoke to him on the way, setting up for the podcast tonight, and he's super excited. And there's going to be an extra little incentive that day, specifically for him to go out there and get that victory because that was actually my mom's birthday, my grandma, that passed away this past year, and me and him spoke about it today, and it's going to be a movie that night. So if you get this message or viewing this right now and you part of the family, like me and him are in talks right now, and he's going, do the whole thing, the dedication and all that stuff for mom. And I'm gonna just ask all the family to show up and show out for him. And you already know GNT family is always welcome. So
Absolutely.
definitely, hopefully, they select his opponent soon, and it does, go forward with the fight because he was supposed to fight this month in March, but that got pushed back. But as of right now, he's fighting on May 10th on that card in AC at the Hard Rock. So shout out to Juan and to his camp, and hopefully they put their best foot forward and prevail.
And hopefully they will be claiming that thing right now.
Yeah,
He will going to walk out of AC another victory under his belt. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's get ready to shut this thing down. Joel, this is on you, brother. Your last words for the night.
now, shout out to everyone that tuned in on IG, YouTube. Listen, continue to support us. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please send us the feedback through the DMs or however you want to reach out to us and let us know how we're doing or more topics that you would like for us to go over. But thank you guys for tuning in. Bird Gang signing out.
Yeah, like you said, man, thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate the support. We appreciate y'all tuning in each and every week. You know what I mean? The GNT Sports Talk, man, trying to make us become the top sports podcast, definitely in the city, and of course, we striving to be the best in the world, man. But like I said, we thank y'all for tuning in, man. You know what I mean? Enjoying this conversation with us, man. Like you said, if there's anything that y'all want us to talk about, you know what I mean, to speak more about, you know what I mean, whatever that sport may be, you know what I'm saying, something you think we don't really cover, as much, man, send that, man. We'll do our best to, you know what I mean, answer and honor all the questions and, comments and stuff that you send our way. But hey man, y'all know who I am. Y'all see the name. You know what it is. This Friday. Laugh the pain away. That's 2 days from now, man. Tickets are still available. Follow me on the Instagram. Ticket link is in the bio. You know what I'm saying? If not, DM me. I'll send you all the information you need. The lineup is crazy. We got Ken Jones up and coming, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, talent from the city, you know what I'm saying, who I think is going to be, you know what I mean, next up. You know what I mean? But to come out, support your boy, man. Come support the promoter, man. Like I said, show this Friday. Give out free wine. Will be some nice comedians, nice poets. Enjoy the vibes down there, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Plenty of people who, watch this show, man, have, came down and experienced that, you know what I mean, with me, man. And, you know what I mean? This is expanding, obviously, outside of Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? We doing my guy, Kenny Travels, you know what I'm saying? And we got a connection, up in Harlem, you know what I'm saying? So we, Bam Potato is even in Harlem now, man. So tap in and follow your boy, man, the promoter, man. And also, yeah, I'm a man with many hats, man, and I just be trying to, get out there, display my talents however I can, you know what I mean? And I'm a part of a group called the Podcast Link Crew. We have a live show that is scheduled to happen in May 4th, actually. You know what I mean? The venue is at King's Cafe. Tickets on sale now. DM me for that ticket link. You know what I'm saying? And this show is called The Empire Strikes Back. This is going to be our third live show that we've done. You know what I'm saying? It's just a host and a mix of some men and some women who's affiliated with podcasts, man. We just linking up. You know what I mean? Being from the city of Philadelphia, they say how people from Philly don't support or we can't work with each other, but we try to overcome that stereotype, you know what I'm saying, and just link up and do what we do on camera together, put together these live shows to make it, you know what I'm saying, show that Philly can work together. You know what I mean? So follow me on Instagram, man. I got a lot going on, man. Definitely tap in each Wednesday, 8 p.m. GNT Sports Talk. Let's get it, y'all.
Look, as always, we appreciate every single one of y'all for tuning in. Like Joel said, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the content out. We have more shorts that's going to be dropping for each and every episode going forward. So we're excited for that, just to go ahead and put out more content for y'all guys. So just continue to just follow us and support us, and we'll continue to go ahead and support y'all guys and everything y'all guys are doing as well. We definitely appreciate every single one of y'all. So until next time, keep your head up, stay prayed up, and we'll talk to y'all guys extremely soon. God bless you all. Good night.